That was too nice.
Hey Justin, how's it going?
Hi Todd, nice to meet you.
Good to see you too. Tell me a little bit about your game and your handicap and what's been going on with your bunker play.
Well, I've been playing golf for about 5 years now. I started with a more traditional swing and then found your website. And my short game's always been a struggle, sand especially. I took a lesson and, you know, more traditional, open your stance, open the club face, you know, V-shaped shot, you know, dig deep. And just been having a lot of trouble with it. Just played yesterday. It took me 3 shots to get out of the sand in 1 hole. And
so the goal is to avoid the bunkers.
Yeah, ideally, but you know, it's not so easy in some courses.
Well, the thing that's tough about a conventional wedge, as you saw, and you can see how much sand is on that face, is you have to spend so much effort to try to open the blade. Then you got to open your stance, and you got to try to predict how much loft is on the club, how high it's going to go, and then controlling the distance, as you saw, it's hard to do. And most people have trouble just hitting the proper space behind the golf ball, and then they don't get it out of the sand. So number one, you want to get it out of the sand. And number two is you want to get some distance control so you can actually, you know, get it closer to the hole. So
sure.
Obviously you're a little familiar with this club, but this is a Sandy Andy wedge. Yep. And the thing about this club, are you familiar with Moe Norman at all?
Oh yeah, just a little.
Okay. So the thing about Moe is he's always looking for the easiest way to get things done. And Moe introduced me to this club. He had this in his bag. Not this exact club, but he had a similar club that we've actually remanufactured. Okay. And Moe is always looking for the easiest way to get things done. And one of the things this club, it has bounce on it already, but it has bounce when you actually square the blade. So you no longer have to open the blade. So what I'm gonna have you do is hit some shots, and all you have to do really is keep the blade square this time and hit the proper distance behind the ball. So instead of worrying about opening the blade, opening your stance, cutting across it, square your stance up, square the blade up, and just hit 1 inch behind the ball. That's all you really have to do, just accelerate through it.
Sounds
so let's hit a couple shots. That right there, you hit a perfect distance behind the ball. That was actually a perfect shot. Look how close that is to the hole. That's about 10 feet. You know what's funny about that one? You didn't hit it great, but it still got out of the sand. And that's the thing about it is even the bad ones are going to help this thing get out. Accelerate just a little bit more on this.
Yep.
Good. That one you hit a little too far behind. That's okay. Yep. That's a great shot right there. So that one had a little check on it too, a little spin on it. That's about 5 feet. So the thing about it, this club is that, I mean, that was a great swing right there. And the thing is hitting the proper distance on the ball. You have one thing to worry about. And that's the thing about a bunker shot is, I mean, it's a hard shot anyway. So just 1 inch behind it. That's great. Let's hit one more.
Okay.
That actually was pretty good. Just a little more acceleration. Great one there. So tell me how that feels to you.
Oh, it feels great. It's a little bit heavier, so that's nice. But definitely not digging in the sand at all. I mean, it's staying really well
I see
on
the
top of the
divots are
sand.
good, yeah.
It's nice because if I miss it, it's still very forgiving and at least gets it out of the sand.
And that's the thing about it too, is out of the bunker, being able to actually not be perfect and still get the thing out and make a putt or so and have a chance. You don't want to leave them in the bunker. That's the worst part about it.
No.
The weight of it felt good?
Yeah, it feels great. Makes it pretty easy to keep the wrists in front, which is a good thing. And I find myself once in a while releasing too early and then you clip it and send it 30 yards past the pins.
Right.
So, but yeah, it feels really great. I like the shorter swing. I don't feel like I have to go way up here. And
right, because when you open the blade, you got to take it back so far.
Take it right back really far, and it's just inconsistent because, you know, I want to take it this far or this far. So.
Yeah. So Justin, kind of walk me through with your conventional wedge, all the things you're thinking about and what you really have to do to hit that club.
Well, first of all, I've got to get my stance really open. So I have to figure out where I'm hitting it and open it up like that. Dig in, keep it in the front part of my stance. And then I have to take my club and I have to open the club face so that it's aiming at the pin or the direction I want to hit it. Then I have to figure out, well, how hard do I want to hit it? Because I got to take this big swing and then try to come down and keep it close, inch or so behind the ball. And then that.
All right.
So yeah, it's a lot going on.
So there's about 6 things you mentioned there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
right.
just a couple.
All right, let's just simplify this a little bit. All right. So I don't want you to think about anything in your stance, but all I want you to do is square the face up to the target and hit 1 inch behind the ball. That's all I want you to do.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. That might go in. But get rid of all those swing pots.
A lot less things, yeah. I mean, it's
square
right up on top. It kind of clean through. It felt great.
Yeah, and see how it bounced right through the sand? And this sand's pretty firm, and you can see that it just knocked it right out of the sand. So, I mean, that's the whole idea behind the Sandy Andy wedge, is that there's a lot less going on. You can focus on squaring the blade and just hitting right up there. How'd that feel?
I felt awesome.
Yeah, with Justin, you saw he had to walk through about 4, 5, or even 6 things just to get the conventional wedge to get through the bunker and hit a shot. And obviously he was struggling with getting any of the shots out of the bunker. And that's what makes this wedge so great, because the minute he grabbed this wedge, he really didn't have to think about those things. He could just square his stance, set the club down. The club didn't have to open up, and he could bounce the club right through the sand. And he hit 2 of the best shots I've seen him hit today, just from not thinking, using his club, and just simplifying his bunker. So as you see a lot with conventional golfers, is they're so complicated with the conventional wedge, and this thing just simplifies everything so much faster because you don't have to do all those things to get it out of the sand.
I started out with a more traditional swing, Jack Nicklaus type swing. Ran across the Graves Golf Academy. I was looking for something easier. I was struggling really a lot with the conventional swing. So ever since I've picked up the Graves, I've dropped about 15 points in my handicap. So I struggle in the sand with consistency. It's a lot about confidence. I feel with my traditional wedge, I dig a lot. I'm feeling like I'm trying to strike down on the ball, and tend to take a lot of sand. And well, I think confidence has a lot to do with not thinking too much. And I find I think a lot when I have a traditional wedge in my hand. I gotta open my stance, I gotta open the club face, I gotta change my alignment. So with the Sandy Andy, it was really nice because I could just walk up to the ball, line up my stance, and then just take my swing. I wasn't thinking about 6 different things. I didn't have to worry so much about digging in the sand because it's really forgiving. It was very easy to hit. It's got a little bit more weight to it, so it bounces, it stays on top of the sand, which is nice. Didn't feel like I was digging as much. And you know, occasionally I make a mistake, it still helps me out and gets me out of the sand. And definitely would improve my game.